Welcome back, gamers, to another episode of the Slow Run Cast. I am your host, the Iraqi Balboa, and I am joined by my friend who's got the sniffles today, and this is why we have been absent for some time. But he is still and always will be the Durwinator. How you doing, Durwin?
Good. Our
Still
first
feeling sick.
episode to
First
2025.
episode, yeah.
Almost halfway into January.
Yeah. So happy New Year, everyone. We're sorry we've left you guys in the dark for 3 weeks now. I think we had an episode before Christmas, and then we said, we'll skip the one after that. We'll just take a break.
Yeah.
And then you picked up the flu or whatever.
Yeah, and I was out for like 5 days.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. I didn't even think you'd make it there. I thought we'd have to skip another week.
Oh man, I was like kind of biting my teeth for I think Thursday. I was like, oh my god, I gotta be able to make this podcast work this weekend.
Yeah. I thought, I didn't realize you were so sick. I was like, he'll be back in a day or two. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
dude, it's been a week.
Did you know
we just skipped the whole week?
You know it's bad when you don't like see any memes from me for 5 days.
If I don't get either via text message or Instagram or Facebook any like video game memes from Durwin, he's gone. I was like, this guy, I gotta check in.
Yeah.
Is he still alive? Or is he gaming with the fishes? We don't know.
I'm lost in Infinity Nikki.
Oh, don't tell me you're actually playing Infinity
No,
Nikki.
I'm kidding.
I was like, this guy, he's 6K deep on microtransactions and Infinity Nikki.
Yeah,
imagine.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but we have a special episode. We have a special episode for you. My wife's gonna be listening to this and just grab her phone, throw it out of the window. God damn it. They can't all be special episodes. They're not special anymore. They're all special.
Every week is a special episode when you have your wife's blessing to do an episode.
Good point. True. Or to do an episode in normal waking hours.
Yeah.
Because it is 4 p.m. right now, Mountain Time. So.
Yeah, it's snowing outside up here. I don't know about.
No way.
You. Yeah.
Dude, it rained last night.
Did it?
Yeah, it rained last night. I went out to that comedy club. What's it called? The Laugh House in Calgary.
Is that Yuck Yucks or different?
No, it's just called the Laugh House or whatever. Right? Or the Laugh Shop. Sorry, the Laugh Shop. Yeah. My friend from high school was there. He's performing. So yeah, we went out. It's at the Hotel Blackfoot. Yeah, we went out yesterday. It was a good time, good show. Listeners, if you guys aren't aware of him, I'll give him a shout out. I don't think he needs a shout out from me, but Malik Al Asal, that's MALIK EL Al Asal ELASSAL maybe. Yeah, so born and bred in Calgary, but he's up and coming, and he had the what do you call it? He had a Just for Laughs special too that he was in Calgary. I think it was like last year April that we went to. That was really funny. You could see his stuff online. So if you still, I mean, I don't know. By the time this comes out, I think today's the last night he's performing here, and he's back to New York. But
we had a multiple night.
show. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know if he's doing Sunday. Yeah. He's in a upcoming what do you call it? TV show. I'm trying to remember the name. Holy smokes. What was that TV show? Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe I'll shout it out next time. I remember when it launches. It's coming out in April. Yeah, no, this is not him. There's some other guy with the same exact name on IMDb. This can't be him. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. But yeah, if you're bored, buy a ticket before 8 o'clock and go. I think it might be sold out, actually. It was sold out. It was like front row.
Oh, geez.
Well, anyway, this is a big tangent. How did I get here? Oh, because it was raining last night.
Yes.
Yeah, it was raining. Anyway, so our special episode today was supposed to be 3 episodes, but for the aforementioned reasons, it's being condensed into one. We're going to do a quick recap of 2024 as a year in the video game industry. Then we want to do our own little fun predictions for what we think 2025 has in store for us. And then we'll take a look at some of the upcoming games, both ones that have a hard release date and ones that we kind of know word on the street are coming out this year, but we're not maybe sure. And then maybe ones that are kind of up in there. So 2024. How was 2024 for you, Derwin? Both gaming wise and real life wise.
2024 wasn't too bad. I mean, gaming wise, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. I don't think it was the strongest year gaming wise for me, but it's enough. It's not like there's plenty of stuff to play. Yeah. I think 2023 was definitely stronger, but I think 2023 is like
Yeah,
a once in
for
a
sure.
decade year. Yeah. So, I kind of want to start this off by what I think is kind of the biggest news story from 2025, which is the shift in or biggest news story from 2024 is we saw this huge shift from Microsoft with regards to its platform first party kind of strategy. Like 5 or 6 years ago, Microsoft realized their Xbox brand is not doing good. Well, they probably realized before that, but it wasn't doing good. And one of the reasons that it wasn't was first party games. They didn't have a lot of exclusives, and the games that were coming in house from the first party developers were either not hitting the mark or they're very few and far in between. In the years where literally almost nothing came out for Xbox, you had like God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, all these games coming out for PlayStation. I mean, Nintendo's a completely different story altogether, but yeah. So Xbox was in third place, and they decided that we need to fix this, and so they started buying up smaller studios, like for example the Hellblade studio, um, Ninja Theory. They bought Obsidian,
Tango.
and well, that was So then they bought Bethesda, and then first they bought like individual smaller studios. Then I think 2021 was it, or 2020, with the big news with the Bethesda purchase. And then the bigger news from the year after that was the Activision Blizzard purchase, which took a while for it to work. And so we were saying, I mean, it's coming. They were all into the Game Pass and day one for all our first party titles. And then just out of the blue earlier this year, some rumors came out that there's some games that were going on all platforms, on all consoles. There were rumors first, so we couldn't figure out what was going on. And then, if you remember earlier last year, when Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and Matt Booty had this weird like podcast thingy where they were talking about their strategy. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think that was like in March or something. And they confirmed that 4 games, they were going to test the water with 4 games. I mean, if you go back and watch that video, it sounded like a lot of like damage control, because people were freaking out, man. People were throwing their Series X's in the garbage. And I don't blame them. I bought a Series X because I thought Hellblade was going to be an Xbox exclusive. I mean, I was way overhyped for that game to start off with, right? Like buying a whole console for Hellblade 2 now in hindsight seems absolutely bananas. But my hype was through the roof for that game. It didn't end up coming out until 4 years later. But I mean, I don't regret buying my Xbox. Like Game Pass is good and all that. But now, I mean, even recently, there's rumors that Hellblade 2 is coming to PS5.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's one of the games that are rumored to come to PS5 this year.
Yeah, so I mean, it started off with Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Grounded, and Hi-Fi Rush, and Xbox said these were smaller title games or games that have been out for a while on the Series X, and they could use for a boost in player count. And I think the writing was on the wall back then. I think all they were doing was damage control and testing the waters. And as the year went by, it became more and more clear that these guys were going to go platform agnostic with all their games. And I think part of the reason was the Activision Blizzard purchase. So the Activision Blizzard purchase that was done in order to improve Microsoft's first party slate of games was so costly that Microsoft from on top told the Xbox CEOs and executives from below that, listen, we got to make our money back for this $80 billion purchase. And so far, the exclusives that we've put out, they haven't paid off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one went and bought Series X for Hi-Fi Rush, you know? So for what they went from one way to the polar opposite. And it's like put everything everywhere. We got to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I think another aspect of that was the antitrust stuff. Xbox had to they had to basically say like, oh, like I think it was initially just like a small idea to be like, oh, like we'll continue, putting out these games to all these platforms because we don't have a monopoly or whatever. But then as like the cost of paying for Activision came out, what started as like a idea for just giving a reasoning for why it's not antitrust, it slowly like watered down to be like, yeah, then we'll add this and then this and then it's actually a good thing for gamers and all that stuff, which I mean it is, but
It's a
I
good
think
thing for gamers, but
ideally what Microsoft wanted was to basically have all the Bethesda games and Activision games be exclusives to Xbox so that people are buying Xboxes.
I think that was the initial plan.
Yeah.
I think those two big, like having Activision Blizzard and Bethesda being Xbox exclusive, changes the ball game all of a sudden. Now it's competitive with Sony, and we only really got what came out of Bethesda altogether post purchase. Yeah, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo came out, but they honored the previous agreements they had with Sony for Sony exclusivity for 1 year. So even after the purchase, those came out as Sony exclusives, PlayStation exclusives, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. It was really Hi-Fi Rush and Starfield. That's what came out of Bethesda, and what came out of Activision Blizzard is literally nothing but the new COD. And basically, they were told this new COD has to be on everything, or that we're not going to let this go through. But fast forward to later in the year, and Phil Spencer is having an interview with, or Bloomberg is interviewing Phil Spencer, and he's basically, it went from, oh, we're just testing the waters, to nothing's off the table. Halo could go exclusive, or it could go on all platforms, and even apparently, I heard a rumor actually that it was going to recently. Where did I read that news? That even on Switch, like Halo was going to go to Switch or something like that.
That's if the Switch will be able to run it.
Yeah. So I think, or the Switch 2, sorry, not the current Switch. So I think the console war is over. I think basically Nintendo went and said, we're going to pick the battleground. We're not going to pick your battleground, and we're going to make our own battleground. And they won that battleground because nobody was fighting them for that battleground, right?
Yeah.
Although I think
not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well,
but I do think handhelds are coming slightly at their kind of piece of the pie. And it really was just a Sony Xbox, PlayStation, Microsoft Xbox, and then Sony PlayStation competition back and forth for 2-3 generations now. I think since the GameCube, like Nintendo changed their strategy, like in the Wii. Yeah.
They're just playing on a different field in general.
Yeah. So, and then PC is its own thing. So, which now lends begs, like, if Xbox is going to go on all platforms, like, where is what's the point of the console?
Yeah.
And there are apparently also rumors that the new console's coming out in 2026.
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought was kind of soon. I was thinking 2020.
I think it makes sense for Xbox, to be honest.
Who's buying that thing? Why am I going to buy that thing?
I mean, if it has a good value proposition, if it has better specs than the PS5 Pro for not a crazy price point, I mean, people may jump to it because it is a console that is a good value, right?
Yeah.
I think Xbox is really playing towards its value, not so much with Game Passes when it first was announced, but like Game Pass is still technically a very good value proposition for gamers. And then pair that with a console that they're subsidizing, I think that could be like a crazy value proposition for gamers to jump back to Xbox.
I agree. I just think this is very new. This is very new territory. Not in the
Yeah.
history of any video game home console was exclusives not a thing. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of the driving force back back in the Sega Genesis, Super NES days. Like it's been a driving force forever, as far as I remember. Like I remember being a kid, being like, I want a PlayStation, and then I remember like looking at like GameCube and Xbox games on flyers that I knew I'd never get to play because my dad's not gonna go and buy me a second console, right? You know, so it's like that's all gone now, which is it's kind of crazy. And I wonder how this is gonna change Sony's strategy. Do you think it might change Sony's strategy? Because Sony's like, we
No,
don't
I
need to
don't
make
think.
these. Well, maybe they're like, we don't need to make these exclusive anymore. Who are we competing with? They're gonna buy us anyway. Might as well make more money by putting these games on more. Maybe they won't put it on Xbox, but maybe
Yeah,
they'll put it on PC day and date.
yeah. I mean, that would be a good plus for all the PC gamers for sure. And I
Yeah,
think honestly, if because Sony is technically taking a loss on the consoles initially, probably not so much with the PS5 Pro now, but like for them not to even like really need to subsidize the console, like yeah, I guess it makes sense to just put it on PC as well, right? They're making money from PC sales, PS5 sales, and then also like if they start, even breaking even or making money off each console that they sell, like why not?
Astrobot 2, Switch 2,
That's
Astrobot on the Switch 2.
insane.
Why not? Why not? They just put Lego Horizon on the Switch, right?
Yeah, but it's I see that more as a Lego game more than like a Guerrilla games, you know?
But Astrobot did not sell well, according to statistics. Apparently, last I heard, it only sold 1 million copies. Put on the Switch. Put on the Switch too,
Yeah. That
right?
would be pretty crazy to see.
I don't know. Time will tell. Speaking of Sony, the other crazy thing that happened this year was the live service Concord disaster. I mean, I feel like that's been the biggest talking point of this podcast since we
Yeah.
started it 4 months ago. But of course, we know 2-3 years ago, Jim Ryan, who was CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment at the time, came out saying they're going to do a live service push and they're going to start developing live service games. I had it written somewhere over here. I think I did a little bit of decent research at the time, but it was like a total of 10 live service games that they said would come out within the next 5 years. Over the course of this last few years, we heard about a lot of both announced games like Last of Us multiplayer and unannounced games being canceled as part of this live service push. And it seemed like this live service thing wasn't really going very well. And then Concord happened. We saw it earlier in the year. I think they showed it in April or May. Came out in August to disastrous concurrent player numbers. Nothing that would ever sustain this game long term. It wasn't a full price game. It was a $50 game. And within less than 2 weeks, Sony said they're taking it off store shelves. They're going to stop selling it on the PlayStation Store. And then by the end of the week, they would turn off the servers. And even you couldn't even play it, not locally or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they were providing refunds to everyone. And I think I don't think we have official numbers, but I think analysts were predicting that it sold maybe 25,000 copies, something like that.
Yeah, I think we covered that number like back in
Yeah.
one of our shows, but
So it seems like, yeah, from the whole live service push, they had Helldivers too, which was remarkable earlier in the year. But otherwise, I mean, it's part of the larger live service story. Like this Sony push is part of a larger industry standard of like games, live service games succeeding, people wanting to copy them and follow in their footsteps. Then we got market saturation the last 2 to 4 years, and you almost hear every other day a game getting shut down after only it being live for like a year. You know, both whether they're free to play games or full price games or budget price games. Yeah, servers
Yeah,
shutting down, or we had big plans for this. We're going to stop updating.
yeah.
Suicide Squad,
Yeah,
big fail.
the other one I was gonna say is Suicide Squad. I think uh January their last update is when
Hmm.
they're dropping the online support and just having a game as an offline version to so that you
But
can
it's going
play.
to drop online support.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
servers aren't even going to be up. But yeah.
yeah.
Um.
I think it was like very last season pack where they introduced some like unknown hero or like
Yeah.
very obscure.
X Defiant came out in May. Remember X Defiant, the Ubisoft COD killer? It's shutting down, I think, within the next 3 or 4 months. Um. Remember Exo Primal,
That one I literally do not remember at all.
the Capcom game where you're shooting dinosaurs? Come on,
A
man.
little bit.
Came out last year. Came out last summer. This summer they stopped updating the game.
Hmm.
Yeah, Concord's the big one. It seems like like the late 2010s, a bunch of these live service games came out, big hits. Everybody, it was all the craze. Like now, live service is like the biggest thing ever. Um, and then everybody's like, let's make our own. Because of the development time, it's become so ridiculous nowadays. By the time these games came out, it's just straight market saturation. No one played them or immediately collapsed. And so here we are now, yeah. But yeah, the Concord one, I mean, go ahead, sorry.
I mean, it's not completely dead, as you know. Not so much like maybe the Sony stuff hopefully will be done, but like Marvel Rivals, most recently, live service game, crazy numbers.
Yeah,
So
it's
I think they just have to pick and choose what will actually like grab people's interest.
I guess what I'm trying to say is not that it's dead. I'm trying to say is like the market saturation is so high and these games are meant to be forever games. They don't want you playing any other game, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the developers of God of War are perfectly fine if you buy their game, play their game, stop playing the game, move on to something else. The developers of Fortnite want you to be stuck in Fortnite forever. So you have a bunch of these games that are trying to be your forever game to pull you in and keep you there and get you to spend microtransactions in game. And they're all coming out at once. And this market saturation is crazy. And you look at them, I'm like, I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to play this. It doesn't mean these games don't succeed. They succeed for a reason. People like these games. And we've seen the success from before. And like you said, Marvel's Rivals is a big success from this year. Helldivers 2 is a big success. But
It's all these other
the
smaller
risk
games, yeah, that
it's the
are
risk involved.
sacrificed,
It's like,
right?
yeah, you have to for every big hit, live service hit, I could count 5 or 6 that flopped. Just this year alone. Foam Stars, I think what did they say about Foam Stars? They went like free to play and now I think it's like done or something.
Yeah, I think it is done.
Foam Stars, Skull and Bones, Suicide Squad, Concord. This is all this year. And what, you had Helldivers, Marvel's Rivals. I'm probably missing some other like free to play games that didn't hit the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Multiverses, I heard, was a bad numbers. That's another one.
Yeah,
Like
that
for
one like
every
screwed Warner Bros. Twice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for every success you're getting. So I guess the question is, moving forward, although somebody already said in Sony that we're not giving up on live service and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's only like 2 or 3 of those games that are left that haven't come out yet, like Marathon, Fair Games. I think the unannounced game from Ben Studio and the
So
unannounced Horizon games.
here's the thing with Sony. I think they're just so hard headed with this stuff. They finally, I don't know if it's the exact same division, but like with their movies, they finally are giving up with the Spider-Man universe, and that was how many movies and how much money that they've invested into it. So I think they are very serious when they say that it's not done. It's they're gonna keep putting out L after L until they financially can't recover from it.
I mean, Marathon is Bungie, so I don't know. Even though Bungie's had their own problems, but
Mhm.
Fair Games, dude, that that stuff has failure written all over it. Do you think Fair Games is going to be a good game? Would you bet for it? No, it's going to flop. I'm telling you right now, I'm not like some industry analyst with 30 years experience. I know what I'm talking about. Bro, it's just the writing's on the wall, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have to have something with a huge like fan base already that will buy into it, just like Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Like if they made like a Star Wars version of it, I'm sure like it would probably sell like crazy too. Just people like being interested.
Well, that's what Ubisoft thought if they make a Star Wars version of a Ubisoft open world RPG, and look what happened. It didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
they just need to have like a, a team fighter like Marvel Rivals, you know?
I don't know. Also, never mind. I'm not gonna say it on. I'm not gonna say it on. I'm not gonna say it on. I'm gonna say it. Who cares? Should I say it?
Sure, say it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Also, Marvel's Rivals has like voluptuous characters, and Concord probably had
Concord didn't.
uninspired character design. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see. I'm curious to see what Sony's gonna have for us in store in 25 in general, because bro, I need to I need to know. I need to figure out what the heck Housemarque's working on. I need to figure out what the heck Blue Point's working on. I need to figure out what Sony Santa Monica's working on.
Yeah.
We need to figure out Insomniac. Like, when's this Wolverine coming out?
Yeah, you're just like
I've,
that guy with the meme with all the lines.
yeah.
To
Like
different things.
we got through 2024. In the beginning of 2024, we're like, bro, what's going on? Like after Spider-Man 2 came out, like we knew they had like a bunch of like third-party published games like Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade, but after we're like, yo, where you at? Like,
Yeah, like
you know,
nothing.
so I'm curious to see in general, and I'm curious to see what these studios that are working on the live services games are going to show us. I think the other big news story is one of the biggest news story from 2024. It was one of the biggest video game publishers, not money wise, but employee wise. Ubisoft has had some tough going in 2024. Released the quadruple A failure, 10 years of development, Skull and Bones, in February. It seems like that game just came out to mid-tier reviews. I don't even know. I wonder what the concurrent players are for that. Let's go there.
Probably not very
Did
high.
I just say concurrent players?
Concurrent, you mean?
Instead of concurrent, because I'm of Concord. I said
Yeah.
concurrent players. Yeah, concurrent players 0. Actually, Skull and Bones. I'm just really curious.
What is it? 100?
174.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be another big live service game sort of thing, and they're releasing updates for it.
Trying
They're
to
releasing
save it.
updates for 174. Yeah. So Ubisoft's had a bad year. Skull and Bones at the start of the year. 10 years of development comes out, and the game that inspired it, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, is arguably better than it 10 years later. X Defiant, the COD killer, comes out free to play. As I mentioned earlier, it's done. Within the next 4 months, they're going to shut down the servers. It's lasted a year. And well, they had Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was a good game by all critic
Measurements.
measurements. Seems like it didn't sell well, and the studio did not get greenlit for a Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown sequel, and basically they didn't get laid off. I think they got disbanded and sent to different.
Yeah, they got
teams.
basically just reassigned.
Then August comes, the big banger that they were hoping for, Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, I sold into Star Wars Outlaws, like bought into Star Wars Outlaws. I was ready
not
for it.
Not actually though, like not literally,
not
but
actually.
Yeah. But you did drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid.
I drank a lot of the Kool-Aid. I didn't even play. I refused to buy Black Myth because it came out too close to Star Wars. I'm like, no, Star Wars is gonna be the better game. That game came out, and presumably it was mid-tier review scores, and then apparently
I think this was
well
the same time where everybody was like getting very, very skeptical of Ubisoft just like basically shuttering doors or like failing.
Yeah, questions started happening. After that, then we got the news that they were delaying Assassin's Creed Shadows out of 2024 into 2025 February because basically they were just worried that maybe it was too soon. The game was have too many bugs. It was going to come out in October or November. Crazy release schedule around then, as usual, as
Yeah.
always.
Did you, sorry, sidetrack, but did you hear that they're also
Delaying it
delaying it
again.
again?
Yeah, out of February into March.
Yeah, into March.
Which
March 20th is the date,
I
I
think
think.
February was a bad idea. I think
Yeah.
the last few years has told us if you're trying to get out of other games' ways, like so your game could sell,
Mhm.
February is not the month to bang on. Every February for the last 4 or 5 years has been bangers,
Mhm.
you know? They delayed it to March. I don't think that's that far out of the
Yeah.
way. I think it should have been maybe April or something, but
Yeah.
they're really or it's probably the end of Q1 or
Mhm.
something. Maybe they just did it to the very is it? No, Q1 would be no, it's the beginning of yeah. It would be the beginning of I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty uncanny when you mute your mic and then you're coughing your
Yeah. I
soul
mean,
out of
you
it.
know,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's beginning of or just before it's what's the fiscal year end? Is it March 1st or is it March 30th?
for them in particular?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but
Because they're out of Europe. I don't know how that works.
yeah.
Anyway, it's release date's March 20th now. They're literally they have all their eggs in one basket on this game.
Yeah, yeah. They're also saying like they've already basically come out to say that their first expansion is like 10 hours of content. So they're betting so hard. It's named Claws of Awaji. No
Yeah.
idea what that is, but that's a big bet.
I mean, there was the controversy about this game because of the choice of characters, the choice of protagonists. They finally made the samurai Assassin's Creed everyone was asking for. Unfortunately, 4 years after somebody else had the idea and made Ghost of Tsushima,
Mhm.
they chose a protagonist, two protagonists that people are hating on. One being a female protagonist, which is always going to get hate on in the gamer community,
Mhm.
unless it's a female protagonist that offers visual
Ah, yeah.
fidelity. Um, and then they chose a somewhat historical figure in I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, the Black Samurai, basically. I don't know. I don't have any other way to say it. Right? And then people are like, okay, we understand that there was this character in history named Yasuke of African origin who served as a retainer for a specific family at the time, but you guys couldn't just pick a Japanese guy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Ubisoft is in trouble. I guess another it's always bad news, isn't it? It's always bad news, right? Game Informer got shut down in 2024 by GameStop. GameStop was like the owner of Game Informer,
Mhm.
and they had only recently actually rebooted their physical Game Informer magazine. And I was gonna start like subscribing to it, but it was US only.
Oh,
It's only this year. Lasted like 4 or 5 months, I think.
yeah.
They
That
literally
was
shut
after
it down.
33 years of service.
Yeah, they took
It's
down the
crazy.
website entirely. You can't access anything on the website. It's not like archive. I mean, I don't know if it's archived or anything
Yeah, it
anywhere.
might be on like the internet, like Wayback Machine or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah,
yeah.
and I actually liked Game Informer. I used to read them a lot.
Yeah. There
Yeah,
was also the Nintendo services for 3DS and Wii U being shut
yeah,
down,
yeah, yeah,
which is also like big
yeah,
news for like the Nintendo people. Like the stuff that you bought is gone.
yeah.
Can't
I mean, at
re-download
least you
it.
could still download stuff that you own, right? Or if
Hmm.
it's gone if
No, no,
you don't have.
it's gone. Like
Oh,
you,
if you don't have it on your console, it's gone. Even if
yeah,
you
it's
owned it
gone.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no good. I think the biggest news of them all, though, for 2024 has to be the layoffs and the studio closures and the cancellations and the job losses.
Yeah. For them to even
2023.
create a new category, like at the Game Awards, or like a little special session, right?
Yeah.
With that guy that helped people
Yeah.
refine jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand what happened economically. Maybe there was a push because of COVID. Interest rates, borrowing rates, like the interest on borrowing was low, and people were gaming more because they were stuck at home.
Yeah.
Looks like a bunch of studios, had a lot of bets on specific games or specific things that didn't pan out. They've come out now, and now we're feeling the effect. It was like a boom, and now it's a bust. Last year was bad. I thought we were over it. According to Insider Gaming, they compiled the list of every known game industry layoff in 2024, and there's about nearly 15,000 known job losses in 2024 alone across the industry. They think the real number is probably
Is that
closer to
international or
16,000.
just US?
International. I think they think it's actually higher because a lot of layoffs are silent layoffs, unannounced. They literally compiled the list. Every single developer, Unity Technologies 1800, Twitch 500, or anything across the industry. Activision Blizzard 1900. Let me see some of the bigger ones here. Activision Blizzard 1900.
A lot
PlayStation
must be coming
Studios.
from Xbox,
Yeah,
right? Because so many of their studios.
yeah. PlayStation Studios 900. Electronic Arts 670. And this is like through the months, like January, February, March, April. Take-Two Interactive 600. Tango Gameworks, Tango Gameworks all got shut down, and they kind of recovered half of them. Sumo Digital 250. Rumble Games 200. Bungie 220. And Bungie already had a set of layoffs last year, and they had 2 rounds this year. They're like half their working force that they previously used to be. Xbox 650. Bandai Namco 100. I think we reported on that at the time. NCSoft 500. Firewalk Studios, entire studio shut down. That's the Concord studio. 172 employees. The thing is, Ubisoft 277. People can fly 120. Here's the thing. If you are, whether you're an artist or a programmer or anything, from what I know, I don't know a lot, is the video game industry doesn't pay that great anyway. To start
Mhm.
off with,
Yeah.
you're not going in here for the money. You're getting into game design because it's your passion. And you can only keep that passion so much when you have to suffer this level of risk for job losses. When the risk is so high that you're going to get laid off tomorrow and be jobless. And I mean, people have spouses, people have kids, people have houses, they have mortgages, they want to save for stuff, they want to live comfortably, they have car payments, they got to pay for transportation, they got, I mean, if you get laid off once, you get another job, okay, you get laid off twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these 15, 16,000 people, they're not coming back.
Yeah. They're going to move on.
Even if there's a boom whereby all of them could get all rehired back into the games industry, they're not coming. A lot of them are not coming back. It's a one and done. They're not going to take that risk again. They're going to find something else that is maybe more stable. So I don't know. Maybe instead of getting your $400 million bonus or whatever the hell some of these execs get every year, maybe you should be a little bit more forward thinking. And if you're not forward thinking, maybe the board of directors and the investors in a company should be a little bit more forward thinking about where the future of a company is going to be. Because, like, if you're laying people off like that, like, you're not going to bounce. To say you're going to bounce back, like, maybe you'll get new talent coming out of school and stuff like that. But, I mean, surely they got to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Surely all these big companies got to learn a lesson eventually. I don't know.
Yeah. like what Ubisoft was like one of the rumored studios to have like very, very fresh talent and like never worked on a big
Big
game
game
release
before, or game
before,
at
right?
all.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
a big game, but a game at all. I don't know, man. Is it done? Is 2025 just going to be every single week? This studio shut down. This studio's laying off this many people. This studio's canceling all these games. I mean, what's the craziest one for you this year that you heard?
Like, what do you mean?
Studio
For
closure or layoff or anything? I mean,
the
do you
Concord
remember?
one is probably top. Like, who would have
Yeah,
thought that, Sony would shutter a whole studio?
they bought them like 2 years ago. They
Yeah.
invested I don't know how many $1 million in the game, and they're like, bye.
Yeah. Like
Do,
that's crazy to me that the
do you
whole
remember?
studio just dissolved basically within 2 weeks.
Remember Bungie? Bungie had the Final Shape expansion come out in the summer, and then the Final Shape expansion comes out, and like, bye everyone, you're all laid off. Apparently, they had already planned,
Yeah.
regardless of the profit that they were going to make off the expansion, regardless of the scores it was going to get, regardless of the player count, regardless,
Yeah.
they didn't care. They
Yeah,
were
they
going to lay
probably
these
just
people
didn't
off.
have any more financial backing for any further development, right?
And that what their CEO collects, like, I don't know, special cars or whatever, like vintage cars. He has like a big car collection of I don't know how many. I'm like, yeah. Do you care about like And I don't think they do. I think I'm the CEO. I'm a big executive. I'm gonna make money for my life, and I don't care what happens after I die or after I retire or quit from a company. Right? So short sighted. It's insane, and they're not
Yeah.
they're not gonna learn their lesson anyway. Who are you kidding? Right? It's gonna be the same
Yeah.
thing.
There isn't that many, I think, CEOs that will, stay at the company for the lifetime. Not like that one what is it? Was that the founder of PlayStation? That was like
Oh, Shuhei
yeah.
Yoshida, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
Like
get
that just
Shuhei Yoshidas who
yeah,
actually
not
care,
anymore.
who actually maybe care about the brand name and care about yeah. And then for me personally, the craziest one was Tango GameWorks. I mean,
They're not fully dead though.
well, they're not fully dead because someone came to save them.
Yeah.
But Xbox had every intention on killing them fully. I mean, I was like, I was so like, I literally was so mad with that. I'm like, bastards literally are crying on your knees to try and catch up to Sony, doing everything you can. You went and bought all these studios, and you're like, we're gonna let them work on whatever they want, blah 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 blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. And so that because we want our devs to work on that. And then you go and they literally release a Game of the Year nominee in 2023. You turn around in less than 4 months. What was it? It was December, the Game Awards from 2023, and I can't remember when the announcement came. Like, you're shutting them down. It was insanity.
It was pretty
Like,
early in the year, I thought.
it was earlier in the year, yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's just nuts. Hopefully this 2025 we don't have to deal with this
Yeah.
stuff anymore.
Right. Should we end on like a happier note for things that happened in 2024?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So this was like literally January 3rd. A guy by the name of Willis Gibson became the first person known to beat the NES version of Tetris by reaching its kill screen. So he basically played it until the game gave up.
I remember reading about this earlier last year, yeah.
Yeah. And
I
that's
remember.
insane. Oh, dude, that's probably like hours and hours of playing Tetris on NES too. Like, dude, do you
Yeah.
remember the NES controller?
Maybe his NES died. Yeah, I remember that early in the year.
Yeah, and then also in October, the Nintendo Museum opened in Japan. That's like a little happy note. I mean, it's always good to have like cool little attractions for places that you need to go to. Like,
You know what's insane? You know how like the news is always depressing, like the real news, and then it's like the video game news is also depressing. It's like it's like why is the news depressing? Why is like bad stuff depressing?
yeah,
Like that's the interesting stuff that you want to talk about. Anyway,
there's a lot of good news coming up.
there's a lot of good news. Yeah,
Yeah, especially after CES usually.
yeah. That was our 2024, but we're moving on, man. It's already January 11, bro. We're behind. We've got to move on. 2025 is coming up. I want you to tell me what are your big predictions for this year. I got 5. Did you get 5?
No, I didn't get 5. I have 2 major ones, and I think part of it also like is coming from CES, so you kind of have like a little bit of background of what's coming up. But my first one is
Wait, hold up. You got 2.
I've got 2 big ones that I think will like basically happen.
And then how many other ones? Smaller ones. 2,
Smaller
3.
ones? Like how small are we talking about? Like, are you talking about like?
What I'm telling you is right now is I want to go back and forth, one prediction. But then I don't want to go do like one, and then me do 3 in a row. So if I have more than you, I just wanted to do maybe the first 2 myself, and then
Sure. Why don't you take the first 2, and then we'll go from there. And if I've got something to add, I'll add.
You know what? I really have 3 predictions because my first 2, actually, we kind of already discussed them.
Mm-hmm.
So my first one is based on what we already said about Ubisoft in 2024. I think this year, I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to save Ubisoft. I don't think there's so too much. There's too much of a poop smear all over that game right now, and I think the delays aren't going to help it.
Yeah, that is also one of my predictions.
I think it's toast. I think Ubisoft in 2025 is going to get restructured or downsized or bought out or acquired, sold, whatever. It's going to have a rearrangement of shareholderness or whatever. It's going to get, its business model is going to change or whatever. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's a sustainable company at this point. The Guillemot family is trying to hold on to everything to at least maintain a foothold in the company and to continue to be in charge. Maybe they successfully pull that off, even in the new restructuring or purchase or rearrangement, or maybe they don't. I'm not sure about that. I'm not that confident about that detail, but I think it's it for Ubisoft.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yeah. My second prediction is kind of based on everything we talked about Xbox. I think it's very clear now that everything is going to eventually come day and date. And so my prediction, to be more clear, is every unreleased, undated Xbox game that we have going forward, I think is going to be a day and date on a PlayStation console, and maybe a Switch console if it could handle it. From now on.
So you think that the Xbox release and the PS5 release will be the same day?
I think the only reason it didn't coincide with Indiana Jones is because they had already started development on Indiana Jones on only Xbox platform. And I think they got the orders that now we need to actually have this on PS5 as well. And they got the orders after the fact, and then they started working. I don't think this delay is to appease to Xbox fanboys. I don't think they care anymore. I think what you're going to see in 2025 is Avowed. I think is the same situation. Avowed has already began development before this whole change in business model happened. I think what's going to happen is Avowed is going to come out as an Xbox exclusive, right? In February, and then I think after that, everything after that, Doom: The Dark Ages is heavily rumored for 2025 and was already set to be day and date on PS5.
Yeah. Did you hear that the developer direct on January 23rd is actually going to include Doom: Dark Ages?
Yeah, I did. I thought I think I predicted Doom: The Dark Ages would actually show up on the Game Awards and we'd actually have a date for it by now, which didn't happen. But then maybe it's going to show up on this developer direct and actually
it's confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah. I meant maybe the date is going to show up on the developer direct.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think this is it. Like, I do not expect, and I think what you're going to see in 2025 is many games also in retrospect being ported over to PS5. I think we had rumors of that Horizon, Forza Horizon 5 rumor that it was actually the port was done and ready to go. I think that Indiana Jones we already know is coming in the spring. They already said that, right?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get a Starfield one.
Yeah. I don't think I would be aggressive to say that it's going to be the same day. I think it's going to be just like spaced out a few months, because I remember like this happening before, where the PC release and like the console releases would come out all at the same day. I think a lot of the time one of the versions would have like major issues. And I think that's probably not what Xbox wants. So I think maybe for this year we might have that staggered release, but maybe in the future years they might have the
Yeah.
same day drop.
Okay, I agree with you. I think the staggered release will happen for games that
Are
development
currently in
began as
development.
only Xbox only game,
Yeah.
and now they're switching to add the PS5 port. I could see why that may mess up the development process and cause there to be bugs on one platform that's not on the other. That's going to cause issues. But I think it's in Xbox's best interest going forward, because they've obviously committed to this,
Hmm.
that their PS5 version be just as good as their Xbox version, because it sounds like their PS5 version is going to be the better selling version anyway. You know, so
That's going to be pretty crazy to see the numbers that Xbox is actually making more money off PS5 players than
yeah, I
Xbox
think
players.
I think
But
their whole thing is going to be Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. You could play everywhere, and yes, these games are coming to PlayStation. Yes, these games are coming to Nintendo. Yes, these games are coming to PC. But if you have Game Pass, you could play it day one on the Xbox, on Xbox Game
mhm.
Pass, whether PC or on console. That's going to be their market. That's going to be the way they compete with Sony or what have you. But yeah, I think that this year is going to be riddled with announcements of Hellblade 2 PS5 port coming. Indiana Jones we already know is coming. Maybe Starfield PS5 port is coming.
I think Starfield is an eventuality. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't sell well enough to be just sold on Xbox, but you also have to think, like, is it worth it to put on PlayStation if it didn't sell well to begin with? Is like, I think
I
their
don't
big question, right?
I don't. I think they'll just make whatever money they can off of it. What other games? Yeah, Forza Horizon, Halo.
Yeah,
Expect it. You know what? I'll commit to it. Hold me accountable next year. Halo, whether it's the Master Chief Collection or Infinity, is coming to PS5 this year. I think you're going to be playing
yeah,
Halo on your
been
PS5
big.
this year. Yeah. Okay. Nintendo Switch 2. This
Yeah,
is my third prediction.
that's a guarantee.
Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
2 is coming out. Well, yeah. Hold up, Durwin. January last year, everybody said Nintendo Switch is guaranteed in 2024. Did they not? Were we not
yeah,
talking about Nintendo Switch 2 in all of 2024 like
that's
it
true.
was a
Yes,
for sure?
yeah,
We were
it
saying
was
it was a
like,
for sure March 2024. Then we
yeah, it
said it
was,
was a for sure summer.
and
Then
then
for
and then
sure
it was
fall.
for sure like it has to come out Christmas so that everybody like goes out
Yeah.
there and buys like a
Yeah.
Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch
Yeah. And then yeah,
for
yeah.
Christmas. Yeah,
And then we said it was for sure like March this year. Remember? So
yeah,
it sounds like it's inevitable, but it also sounded
yeah,
inevitable like earlier this year. But
yeah.
here's the prediction. It's not just that. I think uh it's gonna be it's gonna come out with new 3D Mario day one, and
It
Metroid Prime
has
4
to.
is launch day. Those
Well, you
two.
think Metroid
Metroid
Prime
Prime
is going to be a
4
launch title for it?
launch title launch day. You buy your Switch 2, you go buy Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. Do you
Metroid
think there's
Prime 4.
backwards compatibility for the original Switch for Metroid Prime 4? I don't think there is.
Oh, this is a tough question. No, I
I,
don't think so.
I don't
I
think
don't
so
think so.
either.
Nor with the 3D Mario. I don't think that either.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think those
coming
are going to be the
Switch 2.
ones that are exclusive to Switch 2 so that people will go out to buy it. And then like some other ones like, you know, the in-between development will come out to support both. But
Do you think new Mario Kart
dude, no.
day one?
I want to say
New
no
Mario Kart.
because dude, that guy who no, that's Smash Bros. Sorry, the guy that developed Smash Bros has like
Yeah.
moved on, but like
No, not Smash Bros.
I think Mario Kart is due for an update, but I
Bro,
think
it
they're gonna milk
has to.
it for later.
It has to, man. It has to, dude. We're still on the Wii U Mario Kart, bro. We're on Mario Kart 8, bro. That came out 2013 or whatever. When did that come out?
But they made us a Core's DLC, dude. That's gonna hold you over for another 10 years, dude.
Yo, they're gonna sell the bundle with the
Yeah, they're
tracks.
gonna sell it. They're gonna sell. What do they call it? It was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's gonna
Mario Kart
be
8 Deluxe.
yeah, no, Deluxe Definitive Edition.
Yeah. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe no. You know I was like Wii and Wii U, they'll be like no, what was it? Maybe they'll call it Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
or like Mario Rush Edition or something.
Yeah.
Like just
And then
something
sell
like
it for $80.
dumb
Yo,
so that it
you reminded me of a story. One time, I think maybe this is like 2020, probably. Or like maybe 2021 or maybe 2019. I'm in like Best Buy with my wife, and I'm like, just go buy it. Let's go buy some Switch games, right? And then she's like, can we buy Mario Kart? I looked at her. I'm like, honey, this is the stupid Wii U Mario Kart game that came out like 7 years ago. They just ported it over to Switch. They're gonna release like a new one in like a year or something like that. Just wait. They're just trying to take your money. That was like 4 or 5 years ago now. It's like, nope, that was it.
nope. Should have bought it.
Yeah. Hit me up with your first prediction.
So this will kind of go hand in hand with the Switch 2 stuff. I think Switch 2 is going to be coming out with fierce competition because handhelds are going to be crazy hot this year.
Yeah. The
So,
Lenovo Go S.
and then also
Steam OS.
the Acer Nitro 15 or something, which is like a
That
huge.
that thing
It's
is
like an iPad like stuck onto a PS Portal, basically.
You could kill someone with that.
I think if Steam OS gets all their ducks in a row, so they've already announced that they're going to have a beta for Steam OS to be able to run on like hardware as long as it's like a Ryzen chip or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can even like put it on a desktop with a Ryzen chip and like a not a Radeon GPU or whatever, the non-NVIDIA GPUs will be supported. So if that comes out, like, man, I don't know.
I think that, bro, yeah.
The competition is being harder for more mature gamers, but obviously that's not Nintendo's like peak audience,
But here's
which
the
is going to be
thing.
families and kids, right? So
Yeah, but here's the thing. I like if I have a Nintendo for like two reasons: the Switch exclusives, which you're never gonna get anywhere else, but then also to be able to play handheld,
mhm.
And to be able to play like a lot of indie games, which there's more of them on Steam than there are on Switch. Switch is a good platform for indies, but Steam is the platform for independent games. Now I could play all those handheld. And I could play third-party games handheld at much better performance. It is still competing with the Switch. And if you're into illegal activities, brother,
yeah,
you could
I
play
mean, not
Legend of
even
Zelda
that. Like,
on that. Yeah.
there's a lot of people that just use their Steam, like their Steam Deck as like an actual computer because you can run it on a PC mode, which is basically Linux. And you get some like small like light productivity stuff done, which is great value proposition for people that want to like have a really lightweight like Chromebook and a gaming machine or something like that, right?
Yeah. I was really hoping for Steam Deck too, so I could commit.
I mean, the Legion Go S is basically like a Steam Deck too, if it's running Steam OS.
Yeah, but what was it running before? What were they running before this? The Legion Go. What was it running before?
The Legion Go is probably Windows.
But how do you play games on it then? Wouldn't you be playing games off Steam or?
Yeah, you'd probably load it in like big picture mode, or you would just run it off I guess the Windows equivalent. I'm actually not too sure, but yeah, definitely. I think SteamOS will be a big integral part on handhelds being competitive to the Switch.
Mm.
But that's like with caveats that it does work as well as it does on a Steam Deck, right? Because nobody wants to deal with like buggy stuff. Like it's a
Yeah.
console. Like I don't want to be installing like 3 different drivers so I can get this game to work properly.
I mean, what do you think about Sony's reported handheld? And Sony has a reported, right?
Yeah,
There's a
Sony and
technically,
and
and Microsoft's confirmed by Phil
yeah,
Spencer, like
yeah.
that they're looking at it.
I think it might be a little bit too late. Like if handhelds are coming out the way that they're coming out, and with some of the announcements at CES, which we'll cover later, but I think a lot of the technology um, for those non-console based handhelds will be huge, and unless they partner up with some of these develop like these PC developers, they might be behind in what would be like a handheld war, I guess,
Mm.
for competition.
Well, what do you think is too late for them that they're getting in too late in the market? Like in a year's time, in 2 years' time?
I think Xbox and PS5 are basically their handhelds are probably most likely going to be next generation console accessories, right?
Yeah,
So, we're basically getting like new handhelds every single year, right? And like
that's true.
the temptation for someone to pick up one of those handhelds, and once you kind of own one, you're going to be like more akin to using that exact same one, right?
Agreed, but I like part of the reason why I haven't bought a Steam Deck yet is because I am not a PC gamer, so I actually have no Steam library. So I would have to like I own so many games on my PlayStation, games
Mm,
I haven't even played because I've collected them over the years from PS Plus, or I've bought them on sale or whatever, and I've hardly
yeah.
played them yet, and they're all on my backlog. But it's like now it's like okay, I have a
I think
Steam
it'll
Deck.
also be dependent on what will be supported by those handhelds, right? Like, what if there's no support for old PS Vita games or PS4 games or PS5 games? It's like a brand new library, anyways.
True. Oh yeah. If you can't support PS, I think it's got to support PS4, 5 moving forward.
Yeah, I think that has to be a selling point, or else it's gonna end up like the Vita and not have like enough games to keep people attracted to it, right?
Yeah, and I think yeah, it's gotta play. It can't have like these special like how Vita had like Vita games like they were just on the Vita, they weren't the main line.
Hmm.
No, it's got to be like you could play the new God of War on the
Yeah,
handheld
exactly.
if you own it. It's got to have at least that level of competence. And then for Xbox, obviously it's going to be another that handheld is going to be another like
Yeah.
Game Pass machine.
Honestly, I don't know why Xbox is really bothering. Like, you
Just
should
get
be
in the same
developing
way.
an app for these handhelds that optimizes everything.
100%. You literally just nailed the what do you hear? Nailed the hammer on the nail on the head of the hammer of the I'm fried,
You
bro.
hammered the I don't know.
You hit the nail on the head
Yes.
with a hammer
Yes.
because I was going to mention um
Right.
I was going to mention that I cannot remember. I was gonna say that one part of the reason why I haven't bought a Steam Deck yet is you can't really play Game Pass on it. Like I said, okay, if I
Mm,
don't have the library that I have on my PlayStation, what am I gonna do? Do I go buy them on Steam? Well, if I could play Game Pass on a Steam Deck, that would be a big bonus because you can, but you have to go through loops, and I'm not really down for those loops. Like I just want to, like you said, have an app on these handhelds. You go in, here's your Game Pass app or here's your Xbox app, boot it up, play it on the handheld instead of Xbox making their own handheld.
yeah,
I
I
mean, I
think
think you not do that on the Lenovo and the
yeah,
Asus
I
ROG
think
Ally?
technically you can, because if you're running a Windows build on those machines, you should be able to. You just have to program your buttons. Sometimes it doesn't work. I would assume, knowing like Windows issues. But I think the the issue with just developing an app is that SteamOS will never ever let you do that, right? Because SteamOS is not going to be letting a game pass onto its storefront. No, no way.
Why not? It just seems crazy. It seems wild. Just let me play Game Pass on your freaking. I'm gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's I think it's just a competition thing, right? Because Steam, why would Steam allow Game Pass to work on there when Steam is trying to sell you games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there might be a way to eventually, like, someone will figure out how to, like, side load an app onto like a Steam Deck and have it work, but it's not going to be like an officially supported method.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The Steam Deck is actually one of the most like budget cost compared to some of these
Yeah,
other ones.
it
Some of
is
these
a
other ones are
weak
pretty
one.
freaking pricey, bro. You know what I mean? Like how I think they're like almost a grand.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah, that's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Um,
The Steam Deck, if you buy them refurbished, even is sub like 600 Canadian.
oh yeah. Let me go Steam
Yeah, I think
Deck.
the non OLED one, when it was like selling like refurbished ones, I think it was like 369 or something ridiculous like that. But it was also like the smaller storage, 64 gigs.
So right now you could from the ones you could buy. I know this has changed ever since the OLED one came out because they changed some of the options you have. For $500, you could buy the LCD one that has 256 gigs. For 680, this is all Canadian. For 690, you could buy the 512 gigabyte OLED screen, and then for 820, you can buy the 1 terabyte OLED. So it's still pretty pricey, but for what it could do, it's an amazing machine, I think.
Yeah, $500 is a lot easier to stomach than something closer to
A
$1,000, right?
$1,000 for like the base Lenovo or whatever. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for like the second iteration of these.
Hmm.
Man, this estimated delivery date 3 to 5 business days. Should I just buy one? Screw it. Let me
I
go
think
check
you
my
should
bank
really
account.
wait to see what this year brings for
I'm not.
handhelds.
I'm not in a rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I think Steam is in a position where they said that they don't want to update it unless it like requires updating, but like with the push of all these other handhelds, like
I think
I
you
think
need a better
even if
battery. You
you
need a. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like you could buy one of these handhelds and then if Steam OS is supported, then you can just load it right on and you'll basically have a newer Steam Deck anyways. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It makes no sense if they're willing to put Steam OS on other platforms, which is going to make other platforms more appealing. So then maybe somebody might go buy a Lenovo instead of buying a Steam Deck. Then they should in turn put Game Pass on their thing to make their thing more appealing. Makes no sense.
no, but Steam is all about selling games on their system. Like
That's true too.
yeah, why load another game storefront?
You're totally right, but I
Yeah,
don't want to hear this because you're taking away my hope. You ready for my fourth prediction?
sure. Let's hear it.
Nobody wants to hear it, but I'm gonna say it.
I have an idea of what you're
What
gonna
is it?
say.
What is it? Just say it.
Are you gonna say GTA 6 is gonna get delayed?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna say.
I knew it.
GTA 6 is getting delayed to March 2026. Mark my words. Maybe not March, but early 2026.
Okay, I think so too, but the developers have like said nothing about it. Like they're still referencing a 2025 release date and
Hasn't
all
been
that stuff, and I'm
hasn't been
like,
delayed yet, but
yeah,
it
and I'm
will.
like, oh man, I don't think so. There's no chance that it's not delayed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. Yeah, last one. Do you have one more, right?
Uh no,
Yeah,
I think those two were covered. We talked about Ubisoft and we talked about the handhelds thing.
those were your predictions.
Yeah, I have one that's kind of like a little bit separate, but that's more like like movie stuff, but it
Oh,
has a
go ahead.
relation to video games. But I think I mean, we already have heard that Sony is now pivoting to like video game movies. None of them are really scheduled for 2025. So this is kind of a prediction in the future, but I feel like Sony is going to flop on these video game movie adaptations. And, it may not be 2025, but I think it's going to be an eventuality.
Mm, yeah, Last of Us is going great, but I don't know about some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one prediction.
All right.
One last prediction. You're gonna laugh at me when I say this. This year, is gonna be the year. Actually, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I just need to Google something. Give me 1 second. This year, we are gonna have a Sony State of Play or Sony Showcase, preferably, where we're gonna see a lot of stuff. In that Sony Showcase, which I think is gonna be earlier this year, maybe in January, maybe in March, but in for the 10th anniversary of its launch, we are gonna get news and confirmation from Sony through some type of reveal that there is a Bloodborne remaster or remake. What do you think?
Okay,
I
so
think
here's my
we're
counter prediction
finally,
to that.
and I think Hollow Knight Silk Song is coming out in 2025, and that's it. Yeah, GTA
Okay, so
6, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Bloodborne. They all come out on the three games everybody wants.
in 2026,
Yeah.
I'm gonna counter that prediction with a prediction of my own. I don't know about the Bloodborne thing, but I think Sony is gonna be announcing more remakes of classic video games.
Okay. Do you have
I
any idea
think
of which?
specifically, partially because I wanna see this, Jack and Daxter.
No, not partially because entirely because you want to see it.
Entirely because I want to see it.
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter, and I think Ape Escape is going to be
Escape, yeah.
like the two potential ones. I think it's like Jack and Daxter is purely just like because I want to play a remade version of the first game so badly after seeing Ratchet and Clank. And then Ape Escape, I think, is just like kind of like a little bit out there, and especially with like just how animation has come out, I think it'll like imagine Ape Escape animated just like Astrobot. I think it'd be like wild.
Good point. Well, one game I want animated in modern day cell shading kind of art style because that's what it was back in the day, but the technology wasn't that good. That I would like to come out if this ever happens is like Sly Cooper.
Yeah,
Like
that's another
I
one.
want to play Sly Cooper again so bad. Sly 2, Sly 3, whatever, the first one. Trilogy. Can we get a remastered trilogy? That'd be insane. But apparently there's a rumored God of War trilogy remaster. OG.
Yeah, I've heard about that one as well, but
Yeah.
I don't
Listen,
know.
man, I think it's listen, maybe 2025 is the year. Listen, maybe it's either 2025 or 2026 is going to be the year. It's going to be the year where Bloodborne remake, GTA 6 and Hollow Knight Silk Song come out. The three most wanted games that everyone asks about anytime, like if you go on YouTube, anytime there's like a game showcase or they're showing new titles or there's trailers or whatever, the comments is like Hollow Knight Silk Song, GTA 6, Bloodborne. That's all anyone
like all the crazy
asks about. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Bloodborne came out on March 25th, 2015. It's been 10 years. Beloved game. Maybe it's time, man. Okay. That's it for predictions?
Yeah, I think that's
okay. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. So now let's move on to what we think about some of the games that we know dates for or they are rumored to come out this year. So I have a list over here with dates and I'm going to say them and maybe pause and let me see what you think about each of these. So what we know so far, and obviously this is not all inclusive. Like this is obviously missing a lot of smaller titles and maybe anything that got announced within the last week since I wrote this or updated it. So maybe if Game Informer was still up, they have a very good release schedule thing, but no, GameStop decided to shut them down. Okay. Donkey Kong Country Returns, January 16. No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah. Yeah. Good game probably, but I'm kind of sick and tired of these Nintendo ports and remakes and whatever.
Yeah.
January 17, Dynasty Warriors Origins.
You know I'm excited for this one.
Yes.
I've tempered it down since I last talked to you about this.
Okay.
but I also have hyped myself up a little bit more as well. So like it's gone both directions. Um
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. No, it's okay.
yeah, so like I've been seeing all these like review videos come up on YouTube, and I'm like seeing all this gameplay. I'm like, oh man, that looks good. And then I spent like, because I'm sick, I spent like an hour laying in bed, like relearning about the Three Kingdoms, like the whole novel.
Isn't
Basically
that an
having someone
actual
to,
period? Isn't that an actual period in Chinese history, the Three Kingdoms, or is that Warring States?
yeah,
Those are two different
yeah,
periods.
it's, I mean, it's technically like, I think like three eras, because it starts with like the Eastern Han Dynasty, and then it breaks up to like the three, and then it ends up with like eventually Jin, and then the eventual downfall. But I was just like relearning about the whole novel.
Did you
The
watch
novel is
the?
based on the actual time period. It's about like 70% accurate, is what I've heard.
Did you watch the movie where they reenact the Battle of the Red Cliffs?
So there's actually quite a few movies
I imagine
about
there's
that.
quite a few
Yeah,
movies, but do you
there.
remember? I can't remember what it was called. My brother loves that movie.
Yeah, it was actually called Red Cliff.
Red Cliff. Oh my
Yeah,
god, Red Cliff. I
so it's
watched
actually
that,
called
bro.
Red Cliff.
It was called.
But I don't know if you know this, but Dynasty Warriors actually has a Dynasty Warriors movie too.
Oh, I know. I didn't know this.
So like it's like literally based on the video game where they have like ultimate moves. So like the characters like fly up and then they like wave their sword around, and there's like CGI stuff that comes out.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was like hyped for it, and then I looked into it a little bit more, and it seems like there's a limited amount of playable characters. You're mainly going to be spending the time playing as like the Wanderer, which is
The
like,
Wanderer.
so my issue with like games like this is like, I don't know if you've ever played like Xenoverse, where you like create your own character, but it's like set into like this timepiece. Like Dragon Ball Z is
Xenoverse, the
like
same
Dragon Ball
thing as.
Xenoverse.
Oh
You
no no
make
no.
your own like time
Yeah,
patroller, and like you kind of play in there with, along with them, with the main characters.
I have not. No.
I don't know if I really like games like that. I actually kind of hate them, because like, dude, if I'm here, I want to play as like the main character. I don't want to play as like some nobody,
Yeah,
right?
it's like everybody around you is a well like thought out written character, and then you're just like a nobody.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah,
just
you
like
don't
some
even
guy
talk.
who's just like there to help. Like,
Yeah,
man,
I
I don't know.
yeah I don't I actually don't like I don't like creating characters in games. I like video game create like when you go in the creation thing and you give the guy you know, especially if it's a story game. I much prefer they have their own curated character that I play as.
Yeah, so like, I don't think you can really design the character itself. Like, it's a set character model, but like you can choose to play with like whatever weapon you want,
Hmm.
which is like, I guess it's cool, but like realistically, what I want to say is I want to play as like the waifus in the game.
You were beating around the bush for like 15 minutes to
Yeah,
just try and get to the point.
just to specifically say that. But
Just
no,
trying
like
to get.
I I do remember like playing as like some of your favorite characters, and like for you not to be able to like play like that, or like play, pick and choose like one of the
Mm,
three. I think in 8, like you would choose um the battle, and then like and which side you're fighting for, and then like out of that you have 3 of the main generals that you can kind of play.
yeah.
So like I feel like I want that in terms of like it stays true to the stories somewhat, and like you're actually playing like somebody that's there and not just like some random nobody.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, I agree. I'd
Yeah,
rather like a historical character or
yeah,
something,
or
yeah.
like, don't be too out there and have like somebody who's actually like dead at that time period, and you can play as them, right?
Mm.
But yeah,
I downloaded the demo, I think I told you. I literally started it today, but then I got distracted, so I didn't even play. Like, I
uh,
just got like started the opening cutscene, so I'm actually gonna play tonight. Hopefully, I heard it's not very long. I listen. I don't give a damn about Dynasty Warriors, and then recently when they showed this game off, I got hyped. I'm hyped. I'm overhyped for this
yeah,
game, which is not good
yeah. I'm hyped
because
too.
I'm way too hyped for this. I feel like I'm gonna just like buy this thing for $90 and be like, oh, I need to temper expectations. I'm confident it'll be a good game, but I'm like, oh man,
Yeah,
it looks very good.
Yeah, I want to play this on PlayStation specifically, so I'm contemplating buying it on there just so that like I
Why?
remember the OG days playing it.
Yeah, I haven't played Dynasty Warriors in a long time. I think like PS2 or something. When was Dynasty
Yeah. I think the
Warriors?
most recent Dynasty like entry that I played is One Piece. One Piece Pirates 4, I think it was.
Oh, that was a Dynasty Warriors.
I mean it's like a Dynasty Warriors like game where you're just kind of like a lot of it is basically the same gameplay. You just destroy
Oh,
everything and
I guess the most recent one I've played. Did you play the Hyrule Warriors one?
no, I didn't play the Hyrule Warriors one.
Yeah, that one like was chugging at like 10 FPS on the
That
Switch.
looked terrible.
The one I played was Persona 5 Strikers.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played that one as well.
yeah,
That one's very similar.
yeah. But this one's cool. I like the setting. So
Yeah, it's back to the roots.
that's better.
Oh man, you know what? I really, really want to come back out in the same light of Dynasty Warriors is the Gundam ones.
There's Gundam Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
What? Since
Yeah.
when?
Dude, it has a new one hasn't come out in forever. The newest one is PlayStation 3.
Oh,
But I really want to
I
see.
remember playing Gundam games, but I don't remember them like on PS2. But I don't remember them being like Dynasty Warrior like.
Yeah. They have very similar ones where it's kind of like it. Like the most recent one I think is the um the Chibi Gundams. The SD Gundam one.
Mm.
That's the most recent one I played. That one's kind of like it, but not quite in terms of just like a bunch of like dumb robots just standing there waiting to get slashed.
To get slashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like me and you were both high on this. I think it sounds like you're an instant cop. I'm a try the demo, wait for reviews cop. I really was hoping it was co-op because I'm like, if it was co-op, I'd just do it with you. Like, dude, I didn't care.
And just like
I'd just buy
both
it.
play.
I don't even care if it was a 7 out of 10 if it was a co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what brings like good memories for Dynasty Warriors is that like one of my friends back in the day would play it together, like couch co-op. So we'd both like just run around the battlefield like on our horses, just destroying everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more fun like that.
Yeah. Okay, Dynasty Warriors, that's January 17th, which is literally this Friday? We're Saturday the 11th, right?
Yep, it's
That's this
out
Friday.
on Friday.
Yep. That's the first big one here.
Yeah. You know what sucks? I have this week off, but I start work again on Saturday. So if it came out this Friday, I could have played the whole game. Probably.
Oh shoot, that sucks.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go over these PC port release dates or no?
No, I think PC port ones like realistically mean you're probably not going to play it.
I'm not gonna. I've already played Final Fantasy Rebirth. I've already played Spider-Man 2. I'm not gonna play them.
Yeah, again
on PC. Okay, Sniper Elite Resistance, or no, yeah, Sniper Elite Resistance, January 30th. I'm gonna try this. It's on Game Pass. It's a sniper game, but it takes place in like World War II sort of thing. I'll try it for the podcast. Since it's Game Pass, it's like whatever, no commitment. It looks pretty cool. I've always wanted to get into these games, but never had a chance to.
Yeah, I have no appeal for these, really.
Just backtracking a couple of days back, Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. Have you played Tales of Iron? Why am I asking you? This is an indie game.
You should be asking yourself.
I should be
have
asking
you
myself.
Played?
Yeah. So I have played it. I haven't played it to completion. I do intend on maybe going back and finishing it. I like this game when I played it. Came out in 2021. So I'll see. I want to see what the reviews are for Tales of Iron 2 before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if it looks good, I'll go finish 1 and then hop on 2. Citizen Sleeper 2, January 31st. No, Citizen Sleeper, I never played 2. It seems like it's some type of management space sim something. Not really my genre of game, but it had very good reviews when it came out, the first one, which was only like 2 years ago. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, February 4th.
That one's like on a lot of people's radar, but
it looks really
not
good.
on me.
Yeah, I'm cautiously skeptical. Yeah. I'll wait and see what the reviews are for that one.
Yeah, they recently put out the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think on either the Epic Game Store or the Amazon Prime, like the video game, like the free video game thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did cop it. I didn't play it. I haven't had time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Like once the reviews come out for it, maybe then it'll. Why did my camera lose focus? I hate this, man. I don't know why it does this sometimes. Whatever, you're gonna have to look at me blurry until it figures it out. Actually, let me see what I do this. It's so annoying. I don't know why it does that sometimes.
Let me just write down the timestamp so that I can edit that out.
Okay. Okay, we talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Civ 7, February 11. That's big on a lot of people's radar. I'm not really a Civ guy.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but I'm sure that one's gonna come out with a pretty warm reception because a lot of people love Civ. Avowed, February 18th. I will review this for the podcast because it's on Game Pass, bro. But I've been hearing good things from people who play tested it. This game does. I mean, I'm more interested in Obsidian's other game, The Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah,
way more
Other
interested
Worlds
in
too.
that. Yeah. Avowed, man. Lost Records, Bloom and Range, Tape 1, February 18th. That's the Life is Strange like. Not really my cup of tea. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, February 21st.
Is that February 21st? Is that confirmed?
February 21st. Yeah. I think they changed the date. It was something else. And
yeah, I don't have it on my list.
They moved it out of the way of Monster Hunter, February 20. Actually, I don't see it on this other website's list. Yeah, Like a Dragon, February 21st.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't see it on my list here. But I think I'm interested. I also need to play the second entry in order to play it. Man, the spacing between these pirate games is insane. Or sorry, these not these pirate games, these Yakuza games. It's too insane.
Too hard. It's too hard to keep up. I mean, every time I mean to get into this franchise, it's just like, oh, here's another one. Can't keep up with them. Yeah, if I were to play, I would probably play. I mean, it is Majima, so I don't know. You don't get to play as Majima as a main character in a game before, so
yeah,
maybe whatever. Just pick it up as a spinoff. I don't care if I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, just kind of like play with it and go along with it.
It's probably gonna be better than Skull and Bones as far as February 28th. This is a big one for me. Monster Hunter Wilds. And I can't believe I'm saying this is a big one for me because I don't care about Monster Hunter. But this game, this and Dynasty Warriors, like I don't care about Dynasty Warriors. I don't care about Monster Hunter. I saw both these games and I'm like, holy smokes, I want to play both right now. They both look really good to me. If some of the boys are down, I don't know, maybe we could do full squad of Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter? Yeah. Jeez. I'm not interested in it. No? As much as I want to play, I just remember all the times I've like tried to play Monster Hunter World or whatever, and it's just like
I just stuck in tutorials and yeah. Hope there's a demo or something maybe to give it a try.
Yeah.
That's February. February's always packed, man.
Dude, it's a huge list.
Yeah. March. This is probably my number one game that has a release date right now for 2025. Fiction. Split Fiction, March 6th. I can't wait for another Hazelight Studios co-op game. Gonna play this with my wife. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah. I would like to pick it up, but I would have to have something to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. If she gives up, or maybe you could find yourself a gamer girl to play Split Fiction.
Gamer waifu.
You got 3 months.
I gotta start training in AI.
Yeah. You gotta start dating girls that are gamers. So you're like, I have the Split Fiction thing. Don't waste my time, honey.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Hinge profile and be like, yeah, exactly. Looking for someone to play Split Fiction. Swipe left if you're not interested.
Yeah. Yeah. So Split Fiction, the 6th of March. Frag Punk. I'm kind of interested in this game. This is it's like a tactical shooter where there's like cards or something.
Yeah.
I want to see what that's like.
That one's free to play, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be free to play. March 6th as well, same date. Wanderstop. I have this written down. It's probably some indie that I was following, but I can't
Yeah,
remember what
most
it is.
likely an indie, I believe.
Yeah, Wanderstop, March 11. Wanderstop. Dude, I watch like trailers for indie games, and then I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I gotta play it. And then I write the name down, and then when the release date comes out for like years later, I'm like, I don't remember what this is. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the cozy game with a twist that is coming from the developers of the Stanley Parable, which is a very good puzzle game, so I'm really interested in that. And I don't know, we'll see. I'll wait for reviews for that one and then report back, cop it and play it if it's any good. Another indie, Bionic Bay, that's March 13. This one looks like it's kind of looks like it's a little bit of an inside like, but maybe just slightly different camera angle. So puzzle platformer. Lost Records, Bloom and Range. We already talked about this. Tape 2 comes on March 18.
Yeah, I guess they're coming out in episodes, I guess.
Yeah, it's episodic. That's how it usually is. Assassin's Creed Shadows, March 20th.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out which one of us wants to play that.
I think you're gonna have to play
Yeah.
that, brother. I think
Based on
gonna
the release dates, it's most likely gonna have to be me.
you don't want to play Monster Hunter. You're not gonna play Split Fiction. I'm gonna be busy with those, brother. You're gonna have to report on Assassin's Creed Shadows
And Fragpunk.
I'll play Fragpunk because I think maybe enough of the boys will get on. So I'll try Fragpunk as well.
Yeah, that might be a quick play a few rounds and kind
Listen,
of.
brother, I'm gonna try Sniper Elite Resistance. I'm gonna try Avowed, Monster Hunter.
Yeah, you're gonna finally play Alan Wake 2. You're gonna play Silent Hill 2. Yeah, all those are happening, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna play Alan Wake 2. I'm gonna report back on Silent Hill 2. I still haven't given the review for that, but I'm not doing Assassin's Creed Shadows. You're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tales of the Shire, Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah. Tales of the Shire, March 25th.
We should give your wife an assignment. She has to play Tales of the Shire.
Good point. Maybe I should buy Yeah, I'm gonna tell her to buy Tales of the Shire on Switch, and she's gonna play that cozy game. Yeah, because I caught her up on all of the Lord of the Rings. She didn't really watch Lord of the Rings growing up, so recently me and her watched all the movies, and we watched the.
Do you know who weirdly likes Lord of the Rings?
Hmm.
That I just never would have thought. My sister loves Lord of the Rings.
For real?
Yeah, she's watched the extended version of every single one that's available. She hasn't watched The Hobbit, but she was really into the Lord of the Rings at one point.
We watched, that's get her to. I mean, The Hobbit's not as good as Lord of the Rings, but whatever.
Definitely wasn't.
Yeah, so anyway. Me and my wife watched Lord of the Rings. We watched all The Hobbit, and then we watched Rings of Power, the show when it came out, the season 1. The thing is, man, Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm the Assassin's Creed guy, but
yeah, you are.
I am the Assassin's Creed guy. I've played them all except for the last 3.
The only one I've played I think is the first one, and I've wasn't really that sold on it.
I've played and beat all of them except for Odyssey, which I've played but not beat. Valhalla, which I kind of played for 10 hours, which is nothing in that game. And Mirage, which I haven't even touched, which I actually bought a copy of. So
isn't Mirage the one with your country in it?
Yeah. The only one I haven't played is the one that my country's in. Yeah.
The disrespect.
Yeah, the disrespect. No, I really wanted to play it, but if you remember at the time, Spider-Man 2 came out the same week or whatever.
You have to play Spider-Man over that.
Yeah. March 27, Atomfall. Have you seen this game?
Yeah,
this is also Game Pass.
It looks really weird to me.
It looks like it's a Fallout but I think it takes place in northern England. It's British setting or something.
Yeah.
Also Game Pass, man. Why not? Give it a try. First Berserker Kazan, March 27.
Yeah. You were hyped for this, right?
Yeah, I was slightly. I'm still skeptical with a lot of these action Souls-like games that have been coming out from unknown developers. I mean, I got Black Myth wrong. Liza P was great. So I don't know. Maybe First Berserker Kazan also hits. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's March 27th. And then we don't really have much after that. We have in April Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves comes out April 24th. Revenge of the Savage Planet is confirmed for May, but no date. And I think we have Double Dragon Revive, which I don't know what this is. This is supposed to be a brawler, right? I haven't seen
Yeah,
much. I don't really like the art style, man. October 23rd.
that's a pretty.
That's pretty far away to be
Yeah,
putting your
it's a
foot
pretty
down in the.
bold date to have on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
That's like
is it developed by what's it called? The same studio as no, it's Arc System Works. I was thinking it's the same guys as the Yakuza makers, DGG or whatever. I was like,
oh
oh
no no no.
yeah, then that's for sure coming out.
Yeah, no. This reminds me of, like, remember when Starfield put, like, what was the date? 11/11, and then they just completely delayed it. It was supposed to be, what was it supposed to be? 11/11/20. It was supposed to come out 2022, and then they delayed it to 23, like almost a whole year.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so fun stuff. Now, and you could chime in here and add anything that you're looking forward to, but some other games that are on the horizon. Some that have actually been slated for this year, some we're not exactly sure. Grand Theft Auto 6. We talked about this earlier. Is this coming out this year? And are you gonna buy and play it?
I think so. Like
Yeah,
it's
I think we
the
have
hype.
to.
I think it'll be like my first GTA game that I'll legit probably try and finish.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first GTA game that I'll probably play to play as a story rather than to just shoot
Yeah,
innocent people and drive cool cars. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think I will drop everything if this comes out.
yeah. I mean,
Ghost,
it's the one of the most anticipated
yeah,
releases of
it's
2025. I
gonna be
think
insane.
we'd have to cover it for sure.
Ghost of Yote, slated for 2025. Coming out? I think so.
I think so. I think
I
it's
think so.
fairly safe to say it's going to come out. That's like an immediate cop. I think if GTA and that comes out within a week, I'm probably going to be choosing Ghost of Yote. I don't know about you, but
Listen, Ghost of Tsushima was one of my most anticipated games for a while before that game came out. I was really hyped for that game. I got the pre-order, waited patiently, played it, loved every minute of it. Very excited for a sequel. There's just something I can't put my finger on. There's just something that's not making me as excited for Ghost of Yote. I don't know why.
I think once you see some gameplay, that your mind will change, especially if they put it in like the whole old like or like the OG like black and white stylized version of it.
I mean, I remember I just something like I thought if I saw Ghost of Tsushima, if you told me a year ago before this game was announced that you're going to see a trailer for a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, I would have been like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." But then when we saw it, I was kind of like, "Oh, cool, yay." I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not Jin Sakai anymore.
Mm,
Maybe it's because I don't know, it didn't seem as dark as Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe because Tsushima sounds better than Yote. Tsushima sounds more Japanese than Yote. I feel like more of a samurai is Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd also maybe because I don't know what it is. Like Ghost of Tsushima is the Mongol invasion of Japan. You could put your
mhm.
finger on that a little bit more. Maybe I'm sexist and it's a female protagonist. Yeah, so Ghost of Yote, that is slated for 2025. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which was supposed to be slated for 2024.
Yeah, I think it's going
And
to
they
be
never.
pushed back again because I think wasn't there news that
Oh,
like a bunch of I don't know if it's specifically like Metal Gear, but like some of Hideo Kojima's games were pushed back due to SAG after
oh, this is not.
SAG
This is not.
after.
This is not
Oh
Hideo
wait, it's
Kojima.
not.
Yeah, it's not because
Oh
it's Konami
yeah,
is
it's
separate
Konami.
from
No,
them.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
separate. I still think it's gonna be pushed back.
No, I think
We
this is
haven't heard
coming
it.
out, man. I'm actually surprised they didn't already have a release date because it was supposed to come out for 2024. They never actually gave it a date. They said it was going to come out in 2024. They never gave it a date. And then they just silently pushed it out because they never announced it was getting delayed. It just 2024 came to an end and it didn't come out. So
Yeah. And what's stopping them from doing that again?
I don't know. It just feels close. That's all. It just felt closer to me. This is another one that I'm really excited for. Marvel's Wolverine. This
Do you
is not.
think that
I don't.
one's coming out
No,
this
no,
year?
I don't think it's coming out this year because I think the leak 2 years ago. No, it was about a year ago now. I think it was slated for 2026.
Yeah.
Internally, so.
I'd be
But I think
surprised if we actually even see anything for it at all this
really,
year. Yeah.
I thought
I
we'd
think
have to see.
like maybe Game Awards time we might see
No,
something.
man, we have to see. They
I
have to
don't
start the
know.
marketing thing, bro. They gotta start it again. This is a game for me. I don't know why I'm so hyped for this game. I feel like this game's trailer came out. I got super hyped for it. No one talked about it again, and I'm still super hyped about it. Marvel's Blade from
That's
Arcane Leon.
definitely not coming out this year.
Bro, Deathloop was 4 years ago now. Come on, man. It's gotta
Dude,
come out.
I think anything attached with the Blade name, I just want to say it's never going to be coming out.
Yeah.
Although if it does come out, like I'm like for sure day one.
Dude, a Dishonored or Deathblade or Deathloop Blade like game with that art style, with that arcane gameplay. Oh my god. That it sounds so cool to me. I don't know why. I saw this game, I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. Death Stranding 2 on the shore. This is what you were talking about. This is what you
Yeah.
meant when you're. So you think Death Stranding 2 is delayed out of 2025?
No, I think Deathloop is not going to be delayed out of 2025. The
Stranding.
other one that he's working on is going to be delayed.
OD or Fizzant?
I think both. I think there was news that said both that were going to be delayed. I think Death Stranding 2 is most likely going to be coming out.
I think it's coming out. I think it's got to come out. I got to play Death Stranding 1 before this comes out, though, because otherwise, like...
I think that's kind of a long game, too. And it's a little bit boring.
It's kind of a long game, and when it came out, I had no interest. But Death Stranding 2 looks really interesting.
Like, the only thing that interested me was, like, Norman Reedus being in it. But that was because, like, you know, he was still pretty high off The Walking Dead. Yeah. And then for him to be on a video game, you're like, oh, yeah. And then, it came out, and I was like, this is not for me.
It wasn't like, Norman Reedus. For me, it was Mads Mikkelsen that I was really hyped about being in the game. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I have it on PC, so I can really play it whenever, but...
I own it too, so I don't know. Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm hyped for this, bro. This is supposed to be coming out this year, I think. I'm really hyped for this one, actually. I don't know why. I'm not really a Doom guy, but this just looks so cool. It looks so good. Yeah. You?
I think I'm interested. I don't know.
I'm interested.
If it comes out on Game Pass, I might be like interested more so just because there's no commitment, but I'd really want to see like like actual gameplay and whatnot. Because Doom Eternal, the gameplay is pretty intense from what I understand.
I heard there's like less verticality in this game. Like there's not as much jumping actions. Mafia: The Old Country.
You're super hyped for this, right?
I'm super hyped for this, bro. This is a Sicilian mob story. Oh my god. And it's linear. They're not doing open world Mafia anymore. So it's gonna be like curated levels that are meant to, you know. Oh yeah, dude, count me in. This is day one for me. I don't even care right now. I'd probably pre-order it once the pre-orders come up.
Yeah, I've never played a Mafia game, so I'm not really too invested in its announcement.
Honestly, for a lot of these games that don't have announcements or release dates that we've talked about, I think most of them are day one for me. GTA 6 is day one. Ghost of Yotei is day one. Metal Gear Solid is day one. Wolverine, Blade, Death Stranding, I don't know, maybe. Doom, day one. Mafia, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's some that are like day ones for me, but a lot of them are just kind of like, I'd like to see reviews. I want to be reasonable and not just jump on every single pre-order.
Which there's really no. The guys that kill me are the guys who like pre-order game like digitally. It's like just
you can literally buy it the day before. If buy like
buy it the day before and just download it. You know, like why pre-order it 6 months in advance. Okay. Fable.
Do you think one's Fable's a remake, right?
It's like a reboot. I don't know if it's a remake.
Yeah, reboot/remake.
Yeah.
I think that one's gonna be interesting.
You think it's actually gonna come out this year?
I mean, the Fable games are like are OG like games that you must play on Xbox.
But I feel like Xbox is too packed this year. They're really gonna dump Fable this year as well. Like already
Do
they
you
have
think it's not
Avowed.
going to be coming out?
They already have Avowed coming out this year, right? What was the other one that's coming out internally that we said? Doom: The Dark Ages. I mean, apparently they're saying the Outer Worlds 2's coming out this year, or something like that. Seems a little bit too much, right? But whatever. Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe if
they
it's
do
ready,
have
it's
a
ready.
lot of studios, and you know,
Yeah, if it's ready, it's ready.
yeah, if it's ready, like why not? What are you going to do? Hold and wait?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have that luxury. You're not Nintendo. Judas. You know what this is, right? This is the next game from Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
I think
started his.
I think I've seen a few things
Yeah,
for
it
it.
looks very BioShocky. It's very BioShocky, which is crazy because he technically left his studio, the studio that made BioShock, to create his own studio that's still under the 2K umbrella.
It's funny.
So it's like he just literally just moved laterally under 2K. It's not like it's like Hideo Kojima stayed under Konami and he just made his own
Yeah, and just made his
thing,
own
but he
studio.
doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't work on Metal Gear anymore, and now he has this new IP. And apparently, there's a new Bioshock game coming out too from the original studio that Ken Levine is no
Really?
longer. Yeah, no longer associated with. That one we haven't seen yet, but this one looks interesting to me. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah.
Switch this year, like I predicted. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah, I think Switch 2 will definitely need launch titles, and yeah, you're right. I think it will be one of the launch titles for it.
Are you into these games?
I've played the Metroid. Is it Metroid Prime 3 that came out on the Wii or 2? I think 2.
I don't know. Metroid Prime 2 would have been GameCube.
GameCube?
Pretty sure. Metroid Prime.
Is it 3?
Metroid Prime 2 came out on GameCube. Metroid Prime 2. No.
Oh, Metroid Prime 3, yeah, it was on Wii. I've played some of the Metroid games. I think the Prime ones are usually like their top tier like 3D one. So I'm interested. And I mean, let's be real, we're both buying a Switch too, so we got to play something on
You
it.
got to play something on it. Yeah, really.
Yeah. And realistically, like it's probably going to be this.
Yeah. Or 3D Mario. If it's 3D Mario, I'm playing 3D Mario first.
Yeah, you can pick up that one. I don't care for 3D Mario.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! I'm so excited for 3D.
Yeah. Even though I had like an N64 and I had like Super Mario 64, just never really gotten into it.
Really?
Yeah. The only one that I really want to play is Mario Sunshine.
You want to play the weirdest one of all of them?
Yeah, just because it's like super weird. Yeah.
I have that collection that I think technically
Yeah.
they don't sell anymore. The one where the 3
Yeah,
games.
yeah. They have was it the original Galaxy? Like 64
64 Original Galaxy and Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Chronos: The New Dawn. This is the next game from Bloober Team, the team behind the Silent Hill 2 remake. It's the one in the more sci-fi Dead Space-like setting. I don't think this is good. I think announcement was too soon. I don't think this studio has the capacity to release games this close to each other back to back.
Yeah.
We have OD, which you suggested is going to be delayed. That's the other game from Hideo Kojima. That's the Xbox exclusive horror game. Light No Fire, the next game from the studio behind No Man's Sky. I think we saw this 2 Game Awards ago and haven't heard anything since. The Witcher 4, I think that's way out of the way.
Yeah, that's not even close to
That's
being.
not even close. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, also not even close.
Yeah.
I think Okami's sequel is not even close. I think Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet, the next game from
That's
Naughty
like
Dog,
probably
not even close. I do want to mention Elden Ring Night Rain. That sounds like it's soon.
Yeah.
And I think that's like first half of 2025 soon. So I'm playing that for sure. Love Elden Ring. I'm kind of skeptical about this though, just because I'm big on Elden Ring. I'm not really sure if this thing's gonna work out. This 3D roguelike co-op game. I have a bunch of indies here, but important indies. Hollow Knight Silksong. Is this the year?
No.
Hollow Knight Silksong. No.
I'm gonna tell you right now, no.
It's been what? Oh yeah. I remember when I did that. No, ask me again. Hades 2, 1.0. I mean, we had early access last year, but 1.0 this year. I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Maybe like later in the year for sure, though. Not
Yeah.
early.
Well, I think the early access came out in May, so maybe a year. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little bit past, depending.
Earthblade, the next game from the developers of Celeste. We saw this a few years ago and nothing. It's been 6 years in development.
It'll probably still be in development.
The Rogue Prince of Persia. This also went into early access earlier
The
last year.
Rogue Prince of Persia.
It's the Prince of Persia roguelike game from one of the two developers of Dead Space. There was the original developer of Space. I can't remember
I
their
mean,
name.
given that it's a roguelike, probably announced by the end of the year, like eventually. I
It's
think
already
mid-year.
it's already in
Yeah.
early access.
Yeah, if it's already early access.
No Rest for the Wicked, which I believe is also in early access. This is from the developer of what's that Xbox exclusive Metroidvania? Why am I forgetting? Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Ori and the Blind
Oh yes.
Forest.
Yeah.
This it looks like it's almost a Diablo like, but with a little bit more brain added to the actual action. 33 Immortals. This is from the developer of Spiritfarer. This is the game where you it's almost like a dungeon crawler, but there's like 33 of you online multiplayer. I don't know how this is gonna work, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if they can maintain this guy. Like, what are they gonna add bots and stuff? Not sure.
Isn't there a Battlefield game eventually too?
Battlefield this year, maybe. Yeah. Wind Blown, which is the other one of the two developers that worked on Dead Space. They're working on like a 2D top-down isometric. I don't know exactly what genre it would be in. So one of the two developers, because they stopped development on Dead Space, the one that created the initial Dead Space is now working on Windblown, and the other team that was like updating Dead Space is no. Why am I saying Dead Space? Dead Cells. Dead Cells, not Dead Space. Sorry. Yeah, they're doing the Rogue Prince of Persia mixtape, which is from the developer. I can't remember that game's name. Anyway, this is for indie aficionados like me. Replaced, supposed to come out last year. Also, I don't know, Reanimal maybe. The Ninja Gaiden game, Ragebound, that one that we saw at the Game Awards, maybe slated for this year. The game from the Sifu developers, Rematch, the soccer game.
Yeah. Is that? Do you think that one will come out? Probably,
I don't
right?
know, maybe. We have South of Midnight from Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah, that
That's
one
like
will
that.
show up on the January 23rd
Yeah,
developer showcase as well. So
I think
most
that
likely a
one's.
release date.
Yeah, you looking forward to this one?
Eh.
I'm kind of, yeah. Clockwork
Honestly, with
Revolution.
all of the Xbox stuff, I like kind of hold my breath to actually see if it's actually good.
Also, especially because it's on Game Pass, you could just play it on Game
Yeah.
Pass. Clockwork Revolution. That's also an Xbox One. I think that's further out. Phantom Blade Zero. I'm gonna list the games. The Phantom Blade Zero, Where Winds Meet, Ballad of Antera, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Are we gonna get any of those?
Yeah, I think those are all coming out. Why not?
Yeah, I think those are mostly. I think they're gonna come out. I think Phantom Blade's gonna come out. I think Wu Chang's gonna come out. I'm not sure about the other two. Crimson Desert slated for this year. This is from the developer Black Desert Online, but this is like a single player action game, action adventure game. Looks really good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
There's Wheel World too. That one's the bike racer one.
oh yeah. I don't know, Marathon from Bungie. I don't know.
If it comes out, it comes out. If it does good, then I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That's the one that's trying to be a new Persona. Like it was shown on an Xbox showcase, if you remember. I'm not sure about this one. Perfect Dark remake or reboot. I don't think that one's this year. That's the one that's being co-developed by Crystal Dynamics. Gears of War E-Day. think Xbox's slate is too packed for them to be releasing all these in this year.
I don't think Gears of War will be this year. I'm
No.
very skeptical.
Outer Worlds 2. Do you think it's going to be this year, considering Avowed is coming this year and it's the same developer? I don't know.
I want to say maybe. Like, and I only say this because they have an episode on Secret Level. So, like, why release a whole episode specifically on Secret Level if it's not a game that's going to be coming out?
Okay.
And what else?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're missing some Switch ones. You're missing Pokemon.
Pokemon Zao.
Yeah, Z to A or whatever.
Yeah.
That one's
Za or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's probably something that I'll probably pick up.
Is it going to be like Arceus?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be like a mainline game, but I guess we'll see. What else is there? There must be more launch games for Switch. Like, I think we'll really see a lot more games once the Nintendo Direct comes out. Like, Nintendo's been cooking. There's no way they cooked like 3 or 4 games only.
Do you think? Yeah, I don't know. What else? Borderlands 4? Are you looking for?
Yeah, Borderlands 4 is going to be a big release. Whether or not I pick it up is a different story. But there's another odd one that I'm
Turok?
like, kind of. I don't think Turok will be out this year. Another one is Carmen Sandiego.
Isn't that like a remake of an old game, Carmen Sandiego?
I don't know if it's a remake, but it's based on the Netflix remake of the original Carmen Sandiego when we were as kids, the chick with the red hat. Yeah, I watched the animated series that Netflix put out, and it's good. So I'm interested to see what the game is. Apparently, it's going to be very story driven. So I might just play that on my phone.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm a mobile gamer now.
Yeah, thanks to Balatro.
After Balatro on your phone.
Me too. Yeah. For what I could see, that really is interesting to me. I don't know. I might be missing something that's important, but yeah. I know 2025, man. Sounds like it's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
Assuming that we get release dates though. We actually don't have a lot compared to previous years. I feel like in 2023 we had release dates up until like June, July this time. Like I think we already knew Final Fantasy 16 was coming out in June and Diablo 4 was coming out in June and stuff like that. I think we had a Breath of the Wild release date already. I think we already had like a Baldur's Gate release date.
I thought Nintendo had a pretty early Nintendo Direct too in January.
I don't think Nintendo's releasing anything until that Switch 2 comes out, man.
Yeah.
I just don't think they don't.
I'm just curious right now because I remember watching a Nintendo Direct in January last year.
I do too, but I don't think it's a written in stone Direct.
Yeah. So the next Nintendo Direct is expected to be in February of 2025.
Anyway, I think that's it. That's pretty good starter episode for 2025. We were discussing if we were gonna do one episode or two, but there's no way we're gonna cover some of the news that we missed in the last 2 weeks in one episode. So we'll do an extra episode in between the two. Yeah, and I'll call it a special episode as well.
Mo's on that freedom train.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, I still got 2.5 hours or 2 hours before I have to put my kid to bed. So let's get a move on, man. Let's get recording for the next episode. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you had a good 2024, and I hope you're excited for 2025 like us. And we have lots in store for you this year, and I hope you join us along this journey.
Yep, more waifus incoming.
More waifus coming in. Yep. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Take care.